Introduction into training. So we're going to go over a few things that I do and maybe some do's and don'ts. First and foremost is your mindset. If you don't have a good positive mindset, then your dog's not going to. It's just not the time to be training. So keep that in mind before you do anything. The next thing is going to be keeping your sessions short. So that will help with the mindset part. You're not looking at, oh God, I gotta go train the dog, half an hour, 20 minutes, whatever it is. You want to keep your sessions short. If it's a puppy, you're going to want 1-2 minutes tops. That's it. And puppies learn best if you do that 1 or 2 minutes and then you put them away and they have a nap and you bring them back out and you do another 1 or 2 minutes. That's it. You're also going to be training throughout the day, and I'll get to that shortly. For an adult dog, that you're starting out with, you want to do the same. 1 or 2 minutes, let them have a break, 1 or 2 minutes, and then you're training throughout the day. And then when I say 1 or 2 minutes, I mean of an actual training session. Because really, if you're awake and the dog's awake, then you're training, right? You don't know it, you don't realize it, or you might not realize it, but that is exactly what's going on. So to use those opportunities throughout the day, I'll give you a few examples. If they're going to go outside to go pee, right, and we're going to start to teach them house manners. So before you open the door, the dog should sit calmly, and you open the door and you use your release word to let them out. You could also train them to ring the bell to go out so that they're telling you and not barking by ringing the bell. That will be one of the novice tricks, hopefully, that we'll tape soon. And that goes for any door. If you're going to go out for a walk and you daily you take your dog for a walk, well then use that opportunity to have them sit calmly, put the leash on, and if they do, treat them. You open the door. If they're in a hurry, no, you're just going to wait till they're sitting calmly, then you're going to go. The reward for that, sitting calmly to go out is to go out. You don't necessarily have to treat that, but that is their reward. And that goes whether it's a crate, whether it's out your door of the house, whether it's out your garage door or out your gate. Here we have walls and generally gates that go out to the street. So you could do it out of the house, out of the gate, going out to the street. When you come back from the street, sit calmly. So there's like 4 doors in one walk. And that's just manners, right? They don't go through a doorway until we tell them it's okay to go through a doorway. This kind of training will help you when you have somebody come to the door, or you have to go out and get the mail and you're not wanting the dog to go. Well, if you've always taught them to sit calmly and wait for the cue to go out the door, then when you open the door to go out, they're not going to be rushing out ahead of you thinking that they're going and, causing a problem and maybe going out running into the street and getting hit by a car. So some of it is safety, but to me, it's just manners. Now, the other training throughout the day, especially for excitable dogs or high energy dogs, is to reward calmness. You want to reward calmness at every opportunity throughout the day. So if they're sleeping on their bed or they're sleeping in a sunspot on the floor, take a couple of their kibbles and put it by their nose, or put a couple treats there by the nose. So when they wake up, they got a reward for sleeping and being calm. If you're working on the computer and they're laying beside you, same thing. You could put, a couple kibbles down, and, when they wake up and they're being nice and calm while you're working, then that's perfect. Now let's get to food. Obviously having Great Danes, and, the adults eat, let's say 8 cups a day, depending on their activity level. But puppies can eat 10 to 12 cups of kibble a day. So it's very hard for me to use their dinner for training, and only their dinner for training, because it's just not possible. I could not carry or carry around or have opportunities to feed them 10 or 12 cups of kibble a day throughout the day for their little training sessions of 1 or 2 minutes. So that's why, for myself and anybody else that has giant breeds or extra large breeds, we can take maybe a little bit of the kibble away and substitute the hot dogs, the higher value in there. So for my training, whatever hot dogs I give my big guys throughout the day, it's not going to affect their weight. Where, when you hear me talking about loading the clicker and using, one session of 20 little bits of hot dog, for my dogs, that's a nothing. But for a Yorkie or like a miniature poodle or some other small breed, that could be their whole, lunch or breakfast. So what I suggest for anybody that has medium to small dogs is that you remove the bowl. You do not feed them their kibbles or their dinner out of a bowl anymore. Take their ration in the morning that you normally would put in their bowl, fine, put it in their bowl, but put it up where you can grab a handful of it, keep it in your pocket, keep it in a treat pouch, use that throughout the day. Use it for your little 1 or 2 minute training sessions, and use it for your rewarding calmness. They're on their bed, they have kibbles when they wake up. That kind of thing. For your walks, take them out on your walks, and they're sitting calmly at the door. You put the leash on, great. Give them a kibble or two, give them a treat. Then you open the door, they're sitting calmly. The reward is going to be, okay, we're going for a walk, great. If you're just letting them out to pee, then the reward is they get to go out. They get to go out to the yard. Using it that way, you're not, the little dogs and the medium dogs, they're not going to get fat, because we sure don't need them to get fat or to get overweight in all this training process. Now, with that being said, there are certain things that when you're training, you want to use high value for. One of those is the recall. No matter what word you use or however you want to use it, you should use a high value. And you should use that high value treat every single time they come. For, it will be a while, like a good couple months. You want to turn that recall word, whether it's come or the dog's name or whatever it is, you want to turn that word and that behavior into a CER. A CER is a conditioned emotional response. To get a conditioned emotional response, it's repetitive, yes, 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 high value, rewarded every time. For those of you that say, well, I call my dog and he doesn't come, and then I have to go out and chase him in the yard. Bad idea, because you've made it a game, and he's taught you that it's more fun to be chased than it is to come to you. And then, if you've done it, or it's taken 10 minutes, and you've scolded him when he's coming to you and sat in front of you, now you've got, in the dog's mind, you've got, well, I'm not coming to them again because, I got disciplined, or I got in trouble, or I got put in my crate, or whatever it is. So, if you've got a good way to try to correct that is to ask them to come. If they don't, maybe leave a trail of high value treats to come into the house, a little trail, and ask them to come. And if they don't, in the beginning, you walk away. Now, if it's in your yard and you've got a fenced house, okay, leave that trail, and then put a little jackpot right inside the house, so that when he gets there, it's like, wow, okay, I got a great reward for coming in, and you didn't have to do anything extra. Now, what was the other one? Oh, if you were out on the street, and I do say this a lot, if your recall is at 95%, your dog shouldn't be loose. It just is the way it is. I mean, for safety reasons, cars, street traffic, other dogs, aggressive dogs, a whole pile of different situations out in the real world where dogs can get into trouble. So if your recall isn't at 95%, really, you shouldn't have them loose at all. I don't care if you say it's secluded, there's nobody else around. Great. Then use a long line. You can get them, the long walking lines, the lunge lines, different things like that. A good way to start, let them in a big area if you're out. Have the long line with you so that you've got them on the leash, and then you get to a nice secluded spot where you can practice a little bit of this. Put them on a long line. Let them go out there and sniff. You find a spot in the shade, but you've got the end. You call them to come to you. They don't come to you because they're busy sniffing. You have to make yourself more fun to be around. So than whatever is out there. So what you're going to do is, get up and start walking in the other direction, or running in the other direction. And a lot of times your dog will like, what's going on? There must be something really good over there. And he will come running because it's like, mom or dad sees something good over there. It's got to be good. I'm going too. And when they start running with you and coming to you that way, turn around and shove a big, good, juicy piece of cooked chicken, something in there for them coming to you. Another option, if you don't have a lot of super duper energy, is you could pull them in. Still call them to come as you're pulling them in, and when they get to you, jackpot them. Big reward, nice pieces of juicy chicken, and then pet them for a minute, tell them he's a good boy, and let them go back out again. Some of that, not only did they get the reward for coming into you, like of that big piece of chicken, but they got a bonus reward of getting to go back out again. So the more you work on this, the more that they put in their head, I'm going to get treated, but I have to go in because if I don't go in, I can't come back out. In the dog's mind, that's how it works. So now that we got that little bit out of the way, so using your daily kibble, you can use that out on your walk too. Have a handful of it in your treat pouch along with some high value, so you can use the high value for pretty good or excellent reaction to a behavior. If you're practicing heel for that 1 minute, and they've done it exceptionally well, you've walked 5 steps and they've sat right beside you, boom, give them a good jackpot, give them a higher value treat. For while you're walking, you can just put a kibble in front of their nose, or put the high value. When you're starting, you're going to put the high value in front of their nose and get them, and you only reward them in the heel position. Don't practice it for miles or for 20 minutes or for half an hour. 1 minute, 2 minutes tops. Walk a few steps, get them to sit. Lure them to sit if you have to. Reward them. Go again. And then if they've done that 1 or 2 minutes, let them have the sniff break, the pee break, the time out to go and be a dog. And then come back in and do some more. It's not that they always have to be beside you, that they always have to be paying attention. That's too much, way too much, especially in the beginning. The other thing out on a walk, for anybody that has to take their dog out on a walk for their bathroom breaks and stuff, a lot of mistakes are made when people take them out and the dog does, they just get out there, the dog does does his pee and his poop, and you go, okay, great, and you turn around and go back in. Well, your dog's going like, geez, well, that was no fun. I think I'm going to hold it next time. And that's exactly what they'll do. They will figure that out pretty quick. They will start to hold it, and you'll be out there for half an hour, 40 minutes, while he snuffs around to find the perfect spot. Well, actually, it's not so much that, it's that he's trying to extend his walk. So you're best off to walk to a designated spot that you know that he likes to go, like right out immediately, as soon as you can. You get a spot, you stand still, you let them sniff around in that area. Once they've peed and pooped, then you go for your walk. So after they've done their business, now you go for a nice walk, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, doesn't matter. What ends up happening is they get rewarded for doing their business with a walk. So if you practice this enough, you will have the fastest pee and pooper on the block because he wants to get to the walk. which is great, especially on those rainy days where it's like, oh, they don't want to be out, you don't want to be out, but he would like to be out, especially because you have an umbrella and you've got a little raincoat on him. So, it's tolerable, but he can pee and poop. Maybe you don't want to be out that long, but you can still go 5 minutes, right? So you're not out there for half an hour, in the rain or in the snow or whatever it is. So get it done that way. You can also start to put it on command because you're standing there, you're watching them in the beginning. When they start to do their pee-pees, just say pee-pees, pee-pees, and give them a treat. You can wait till they're done. If it's a puppy, they don't care if they're done or not. They'll take the treat, right? Same with number 2. Put it on a word, poo-poos or poopies or doggies or whatever it is, right? When they do that, reward them with a treat and then go for your walk. Okay, so that's out of the way. Because a lot of people do that backwards, and then they can't figure out why their dog is taking so long to do their business when we do this every day. Well, yeah, if you do this every day, 2-3 times a day, and you practice this, that they do their business, then you go for the walk, well, now it's not going to take them long to train, and it's something that you're doing anyway. So why not have it done the right way? And a lot of people don't think about it in that order. All right, I wanted to talk about the different types of training. There's quite a few, obviously. One of the fastest is luring. Luring is using a piece of food to lure them into a certain position or into doing something that you want them to do, like luring them to put their feet onto something, luring them into the sit position, luring them into the down position, luring them to heel in the heel position, and only rewarding in that position. You don't reward them when they're behind you or in front of you or way off to the other side. You're only going to reward them right there next to the heel position. Luring, they will learn really, really quick. But not all dogs, or not all tricks, not all dogs, but not all tricks or behaviors can be done with luring. A good example of that is like getting them to bark on command. You can't really lure that. So that we would use something else. Modeling is using your hand or your body, part of your body, to help position the dog's body into what you want. So modeling example would be sit. If the lure, because not all lures work, if the sit is luring isn't working and you're putting it up by their nose and that's not working, you can gently apply pressure to their bum to get their bum on the ground. So that would be modeling, using your hand to help the dog. Shake a paw is another one. If they're not quite getting lifting their paw up, you can have the treat there, and then you pick up their paw, and as soon as it's in their hand, your hand, you can reward them with the treat. So that would be another case where you could use modeling to get across to the dog what behavior you're after. Molding is using a prop of some sort or another object to help. A good example of that was if you saw the novice trick bow under a magic square. I'm using the magic square or a chair to also, and I'm also using luring, right, to get Dream to go under the chair or under the magic square in the proper position before I reward him. The magic square, just that little square box, is great, especially for a smaller dog. It doesn't work as well for Dream. My square would have to be a lot bigger and a bit taller. But the back bar keeps his bum from coming down when you're trying to do the bow position, right? You want the bum in the air and the elbows on the ground. So that bar really helps to encourage them to be in the exact right position. Mimicking. This is where getting them to bark or to sing or to howl on command would come in. They're going to mimic that behavior, right? So you're going to bark at them. You're going to get excited. You're going to tell them, speak, bark, woof at them, whatever it takes, or howl to get that initial response and reward them as soon as they've completed that. Capturing. Capturing is capturing a natural behavior. An example of that would be yawning. Can't lure it. We could try mimicking it. We might get lucky because, humans, one yawns, the other one yawns, and sometimes that works with dogs. But if they're getting up from a nap and you see them, or they're tired or whatever, and they're stretching, and then all of a sudden they let out a big yawn, you can say, yawn, yay, good boy, and give them a treat. Or use the mark word, yes, or good, or your clicker, and reward that. It's going to take quite a few times of capturing that behavior to be able to actually get it on cue, but it can be done. This is how some of the movie set animals are taught how to yawn. It is capturing what is a natural behavior and putting it on cue. Another one would be marking a male marking his territory. That is something that they do naturally. To not get them to mark on things you don't want them to mark on, like things in the house. When you're out on your walk, or they're out in the yard and you're out there and you see them doing their little markings, put it on cue. Tell them, that it's okay, good boy, to mark in that spot, and start to put it on cue. It will take a little bit of time, but then they will understand what you're asking them to, and when you're telling them no, not to mark there, and you take them out to a location where they can. It's better than, always having to have a belly band on them or something like that for that kind of thing. But, in the beginning, we might not have any choice if we have a full male that marks. Shaping is using the clicker or marker word to get the dog to interact with a certain object, for example. It's like what I do with the puppies when I put the tarp down, and I'm individually taking them, and I put the tarp down on top of the wire crate, and I have the one puppy on the one side and myself on the other, and I just put that down and set the puppy there, and I wait for any kind of interaction with that tarp, or him looking at it. It could be looking at it, you're going to click and reward, or marker word and you reward. He puts his nose on it, he puts his paw on it. Shaping. So with every step of shaping, you're going to up the level of criteria once they have it. Another example would be the soccer ball. You want them to nose the soccer ball, so you put the soccer ball down in front of them or out with them, and you just wait. You wait until it could be as simple as they look at the ball, you're going to click and reward. So they take a step towards the ball, you're going to click and reward. They're getting closer to the ball, you click and reward. To get them to interact with the ball. If they put on, maybe if you want them to nose it and they put their foot on it, in the beginning you might have to take that. But you want to reward higher if they actually put their nose on it or they push it with their nose. Now myself, shaping comes in handy for a lot of different things, but for me, what I found when I was working with Shade in the soccer ball, I found putting a treat under the soccer ball did a much better job, or under the yoga ball did a much better job of getting them to use their nose with it. But in the beginning, you could shape them to get to there, and then start putting the treat under the soccer ball so that they nose it out of the way, they get the treat. That's exactly what you want. So the different types of training, a lot of times we're combining one or two different kinds or different ways of training to get a faster result. I find that not all dogs obviously learn the same way, or with the same lures, with the same food, with the same sort of techniques. We're not all the same. Dogs aren't all the same. So therefore, we're going to have to change it up, and we need to know a few different ways of doing things to be successful with our own dogs, because a lot of us have multiple dogs. What works with one is not going to work with the other. Speaking of multiple dogs, let's get to that. If you have multiple dogs and you're going to start training, one in particular, you need to do that one on its own. The other ones go away. Somehow you go to a different room in the house, you go to the bedroom, you go in the bathroom, I don't care what it is, to give that dog the optimum chance, and yourself, to have one-on-one time with you and less distractions with the other dogs being around, interfering with what you're trying to teach them. If you've got 2 dogs or 3 dogs and you're trying to do them all, similar to what I'm doing, then that's fine. Work with one, put him away. Great time. 2, if you have crates, it's a great time to put them on their crates or on their beds, because people don't always like crates, but put them on their beds and train the dog that's in front of you. Now, if you've practiced any of this, go to your bed and staying on your bed, then the one dog that's on its bed is behaving himself and you're training the other one. You think, but actually you are training both. And the thing is that it's harder for the dog that's on the bed to stay calm and quiet on the bed while you're working with the other one. So here's your opportunity to jackpot high value rewards for that dog staying calmly and quietly on its bed while you work with the other one. Remember, we're only doing sessions in the beginning, 1 to 2 minutes. Switch the dogs out and train the one in front of you, whether you're doing sit down, spin, whatever it is. The dog that's calm on the bed needs to get rewarded more and more often for the calmness on the bed than the dog you're working with. And a lot of people don't think of that, right? But it is much harder for the dog on the bed or the dog in the kennel or in the crate to remain calm and quiet in there while we're training the other one. I like the crates because it's a little bit easier, especially in the beginning, because you can close the door. If you're going to do that and you haven't started, your dog is crate trained, yes, and they're used to that, but you haven't started training individually where the one dog is watching the other one, or you've started them together and it's been a bit of a mess, put one away and put him in there with some kind of raw chew bone or a loaded Kong or a hoof that's stuffed, something that's going to keep him occupied and calm. So he's got a big reward for being quiet in the crate while you're training the other one. In the meantime, while you're training the other one, I would still jackpot this one over here with some higher value treats in the crate for being quiet and calm while you're training this one. Then take it away, switch them out, right? And repeat with the second dog. Okay. Marker words. Marker words. Well, a clicker is just a marker. The click sound is a marker. That marker in the beginning, especially, well, not in the beginning, every time. If you've clicker trained, that click means the dog's going to get rewarded every single time. If you don't reward every single time, you're going to devalue the clicker. If you've spent all this time loading the clicker and giving that click meaning, I click it, you get treated. And then all of a sudden you start clicking and you don't treat or you don't reward, well, you're going to devalue the clicker and it will go right back to meaning nothing to the dog. So keep that in mind. Your marker words and the clicker, in the beginning, my marker words when I'm teaching a dog and they're just learning, it's just like the clicker. I've got yes for when they hit it right, they get rewarded. Now, the other thing that marker words and clicker does for you, once they're loaded and the dog knows that is going to be followed by a reward, is that as humans, we can be a little bit slow. We want to mark the behavior, but it's going to take us a second or two to get the treat out of the bag, or sometimes we're fumbling around and we're not getting the right one or whatever. It buys us that time. So even though in the beginning when we loaded it was click, treat, or yes, click, treat, yes, treat. Now, that they know it's going to be followed, it buys us that few seconds to go into the treat pouch, pull one out, and give it to them. So that really helps a lot. And the space in there can get, up there a little bit. Like my guys know that they do something and I just say, okay, I give them their marker word and I'll just tell them, wait a second, I'll go get your hot dog. And I can go into the kitchen, get it out of the fridge and come back and give it to them. And because they know it's coming. So it's really, really important that way. Okay, marker words. You're going to use high-pitched and excitable ones for things that require energy. Jumping over a jump, hop, and when they get their wave, right? Yes, right? You want some energy. Or when you want them to come to you, that's going to be high energy. And, excitement. Come on, come on, come on, so that you can get your treat. Then there's calming marker words. The ones that are on their bed. The ones that are in their crate. The ones that you're trying to sit and get the leash put on calmly and quietly before you go out the door. Those marker words are like lower toned and drawn out. And yes, they could be words you use every day, but the way you pronounce them, and that goes for the high excitement too, they're going to be different so that the dog will be able to distinguish them. And it's not ones we're not going to go, yes, to a friend like we would with our dog. So, well, maybe some of us would. But, so when they're sitting in front of the door and you've got the leash on them, they're calm and quiet, you're going to say good or nice, something calming. Because if we go, yes, they're going to go, yay, we're going out, and they're going to break and be excited and back to the thing again. So we do want them we want to mark the calming behaviors with calm, low-toned, drawn-out words that keeps the energy level lower. So that's going to help you that way. A high energy, it can be high energy, but I use it, it's kind of a neutral one, is ready. Ready, if you want it higher energy because we're going to, do a series of jumps or up and over the A-frame or on the teeter-totter, you can go ready, or just ready. Ready, what you want with ready is the dog to orient to you. Orient to you means they're going to turn around, or whatever they're doing, they're going to turn around and look at you. Because ready means, oh, we're going to be doing something, but I don't know what. So I have to be looking at mom or dad to see what it is going to be. Now, just ready might be ready, sit. Okay, so that wasn't high energy. But for the A-frame or something else, it's going to be ready, and now they know it's going to be an exciting something. Up and over the jump, ready, and then hop, or something like that. You get the idea. So ready really comes in handy for training because it's a universal word in the sense that means we're going to do something. So you need to be looking at me, and you can use that after you've taught focus. After you've taught focus, you can turn that focus or look into ready, or start focus and look as the marker word as you're training it with ready, meaning to look at you, because we're going to do something afterwards. And so that you need to remember, dogs are mirrors of us. So like I said in the beginning, your mindset is important. You need to have a really good mindset to be able to train, even if it's your 1 or 2 minute sections. And they're going to mirror your energy. So if you're wanting an energetic behavior, then you're going to use high energy body language for yourself, high energy for your words, your commands, that kind of thing. If you want calm and cool and relaxed, you're going to use lower tones and more calming words or more calming marker words. Okay, now, the last thing is how a dog learns. The dogs learn in multiple ways, obviously. Nose. They learn with their nose first. It's an instinctive, obviously, behavior, especially for any in the hound group or hunting dogs, or tracking dogs, right? Their nose is number one. They learn fast, but we are going to have a harder time using that to our advantage in training some behaviors. Other ones, like scent trails or muffin tin or the shell game or hiding treats, yes, we are using their nose. So they will learn quick with their nose, super, super fast. The second way a dog learns is body language. From puppies on, they are watching their mom and each other for body language. When mom goes, that means, oh, I bit her when I was nursing. I'm not supposed to do that. That's also, auditory, but body language tells them a lot of a dog that's standing up there, stiff tail, hackles raised. Ooh, they can read another dog's body language from, swear to God, 100 yards away. If that dog over there has got an aggressive type behavior or is a dominant characteristic, the dog you have on the leash is going to know it. They know it from a long way. They know exactly how to read that body language. So for us, body language turns into our body language on how we behave. So high excitement tells them high excitement, calming. Our calming body language tells them they need to be calm. Let's just stop there for a second. Body language when you come home. I see more mistakes by people that come and pick their dogs up here after they've been in here, whether it's for daycare or for a little mini vacation or whatever. And they come and pick up their dog and their first reaction is, oh my God, hi, how are you, blah, 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 blah. And they're all like, bleh. Well, in a place with 20 plus dogs, they just set the whole place off. And so they need to learn that. And then they will tell me that, oh yeah, we have this problem at home because every time we come home, the dog's running and jumping and doing circles, and it's a puppy and it's nipping at my legs and it's nipping at the kids and it's jumping and scratching us and blah, blah, blah. And well, if my Great Danes were like that, I wouldn't be here. So we need to teach them right at the beginning. We come home from groceries or a doctor's appointment, or we've just gone out in the yard and done something and come back in the house. Perfect time. If we've just done something like that, we've gone out in the yard and, I don't know, hung laundry out, and the dog's been in the house with the door closed. We come in the door, the dog's laying there, and they kind of look at you and go, oh, hi. They know you were just out in the garage because they didn't hear the keys, they didn't hear the car. Then reward that. Reward that, oh, you're home behavior. Because when you come home with groceries in your hand, you don't need the dog running around, jumping on you, barking, carrying on, upsetting the neighbors, ripping the bag of groceries, and all that kind of stuff. So when you come home, if you have an excitable dog, the rule should be, no, you don't look at them, you don't talk to them, you don't touch them until they're calm. If you follow that when you come home, even in the process of training, out in the yard, back, out in the yard 2 minutes and back, out in the yard 5 minutes and back, jangling the keys, getting ready like you're going to go out, grabbing your purse, heading out the door, standing there for 5 minutes, coming back. Reward the behavior, calm, 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 until you can get rattling the keys, getting the purse, putting your shoes on, getting the sunglasses, out to the car, start the car, put it in gear, back up to the end of the driveway, leave it running, come back in. The dog's calm, reward them. Go back out, pull the car back in, shut the car off, jangle the keys, come in like you've been goat shopping. If the dog is excitable, don't look at them, don't touch them, don't talk to them until they're calm. When they're calm, jackpot them. So they understand. You will get training done for the calm dog or dogs when you come home much quicker that way. If you have the excitable behavior when you come home, they're mirroring you. And then when you don't want the excitable behavior, you've already trained them that when I come home, it's an exciting time. And to undo that takes a little bit of time, but it can be done. So keep that in mind. All right, so body language. Sight is the next thing. So our body language along with sight. That is why hand signals. A dog will learn faster from hand signals than anything verbal, because the last spot down on their list, the way they learn, is with their hearing. So verbal cues. So with body language and sight comes our hand signals. Sit, down, stay or wait, come, spin, look or ready, focus. That's why you see me point, because I don't need a verbal cue for, getting up on the A-frame or going into the magic square. They know to follow my finger, which is a hand signal, and sight for them. They will learn lots faster with a hand signal. When you got your hand signals down and they start picking up the cue for the hand signal, when the behavior requires a verbal cue, then you can start putting the verbal cue on. In the beginning, a good example is jump. I might not use a verbal signal at all. My body language, a little bit of a run to the jump and pointing over it or throwing a treat over it is going to be good enough. I don't have to put the hop in there or the hoop in there or whatever it is in the beginning. Once they've got it a couple times, then you can start adding the verbal in, and then you can test. Just use the verbal without the hand signal. Use the hand signal without the verbal. Guaranteed the hand signal will work. The verbal will be a little sketchy in the beginning, but you just keep practicing and they will get it. All right, so I'm going to put another one up, I think, of training, just to explain a little bit better of what clicker training is and how it works. So I'll make that a little bit of a separate video, and along with a little bit of a demonstration, so that we make sure that everybody understands. Okay? All right, so I hope to get some more videos uploaded pretty soon on their tricks and behaviors. So we'll see you then.